in the Bay.
Tomorrow, the nation will celebrate Martin Luther King Day in honor of the slain civil rights activist. NBC Bay Area's political analyst Larry Gerston joins us now with a look at the history of the civil rights movement and where the nation stands today. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning.
So many things to talk about when it comes to Dr. King's life and his legacy, but you've really honed in on what set him apart and what made him unique.
Yeah, you know, Vicki, look, in those days, 50s, 60s, there were many civil rights leaders in that period dealing with the issue of racial inequality. But King was unique for three reasons. First, because of the way that he prodded the nation's conscience without being inflammatory. Second, because of his ability to forge alliances with others, particularly whites. And third, because of the tragic and ironic way he died, murdered, of course, as he preached nonviolence. Now, there were many other civil rights leaders promoting racial equality at the time, but no, these elements led King to stand out. More after he died, unfortunately, than when he lived.
Well, Larry, most Americans today alive weren't there when the civil rights movement happened. And we live in the Bay Area. It's one of the most diverse places in the world. So it's easy sometimes for us to sort of forget, but talk about racial inequality and just how rampant it was, how much a part of the daily fabric of American life it was.
Yeah, you know, it was everywhere. It was everywhere, although much more blatant, of course, in some areas, the South particularly, than others. But when the U.S. Supreme Court declared school segregation unconstitutional in the 1954 case, Brown versus Board of Education. That decision paved the way for future Supreme Court decisions on all kinds of things: public housing, transportation, employment, lending laws, and even marriage between blacks and whites. So quite a difference.
And now here we are in 2015, the 21st century. What does the data show and what is the report card when it comes to the markers on how we can sort of take a metric on where the nation stands today on racial equality?
Report card is a good way to put it, Vicki. Most political experts would say our record is, well, mixed. You know, on the one hand, yeah, racial segregation is illegal. We've got countless laws now guaranteeing the same rights for everyone, regardless of his or her color. We rarely see overt examples of racial abuse, although recent cases in places like Florida, Ferguson, Missouri, New York, they remind many Americans that the equality issue is not settled yet. And there are other examples. Consider a couple here. School segregation, who thinks about that anymore, is as pronounced today as it was 50 years ago. 2012 study shows that 80% of Latino students, 74% of African American students attend schools with non-white majorities, and they have much lower graduation rates. In terms of jobs, another factor, the unemployment rate for Latinos is 50% higher than non-Hispanic whites. The rate for African Americans is twice as high as whites. And with respect to incarceration, this will really grab you. 1 out of every 106 white males is in prison. Among Latino males, 1 out of 36 is in prison. Among African American adult males, 1 out of 15 is in prison.
Wow.
So combined, you know, these and other data, they tell us something. They suggest we've got a ways to go. But, you know, it would be incorrect to say that inequality is as pronounced in American society today as it was in the days of Martin Luther King. And you know, whatever the injustices that remain, and there are plenty, whatever the injustices that remain here, a glance at the rest of the world may tell us something. Tells us that we're closer, perhaps, to solving these problems than almost anywhere else.
Well, it is a good topic to reflect on as we get ready for MLK Day.
Yeah.
Larry Gerston, thank you so much, as always, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.